Data that will make you rich, part two. The first part was actually analyzing TikTok data to get you more leads and more performance out of your short form content. This is going to go in how to actually track your sales data and run your sales team. So in this video, I'm going to be covering all the analytics you should be tracking for your sales team, and also how to make sure, starting off with, that your sales team is getting the right quality and quantity of leads as well. So jumping right in, marketing is supposed to get you leads, sales is supposed to get you clients and revenue. Pretty simple. You just need to make sure you're understanding that, because when people are talking about marketing and when sales is talking about marketing, they usually really want two things. They want quality leads and they want a lot of them, or a high quantity. Now, the issue with this is usually you have to pick between one or the other. One of the best things you can do, though, to make sure you're kind of like maximizing both, is with shooting for 90% on the quality side. 90% are qualified leads for your business. So like, let's say you're an agency, you do like copywriting or ads or organic content or AI automation build outs, whatever it is under the sun. 90% of the leads that your sales team is meeting with should be qualified. The reason why you don't want this to be 100, you might be like, Soren, you're like a silly goose over there. Why don't you have just all of your leads be qualified? Well, because if you have 100% of your booked quals be qualified, that actually means you're leaving money on the table. Whereas if you're getting 90%, you're getting everyone who's qualified plus a couple of people who might not be 100% qualified for your services. Now, if you're struggling with getting people in the door that are actually qualified, I recommend you having an application process. What this looks like is having your potential prospects fill out a form that asks relevant questions pertaining to your business. So in the agency model, you might ask how many employees you have, what's your revenue at, how much are you doing of XYZ, like copywriting, how much of your business do you have automated, questions that actually qualify them to see if you're going to be able to help them. Another one, if like on the systems automation one, like what systems do you use? Because you might really specialize with a certain stack of softwares like Salesforce or Zapier or Typeform or Mighty Networks or School or Go High Level, whatever it is. And you want to make sure that you're helping someone that actually uses the majority of the same systems that you are familiar with. And what you're going to do is you're going to rank those applications on a 4-point scale, 1 being unqualified, 4 being your dream client, 3 being you still take the call, 2 being you only take the call if you don't have anything else better on your schedule. So that gives you the quality. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is the quantity. So this goes back to my other video, really optimizing the number of like the traffic that you're getting in your door. Well, also like if you're kind of optimizing for quality and quantity, this is going to get you there. It's going to get you the most leads being the highest quality. The other thing is if you have like a dip in your leads that are coming in, you can have your sales reps go back through and do follow-up on your entire pipeline. You might have email lists that you can hit. There's a bunch of different things you can do to get this number up if you're having a slump in your normal lead flow. Now, the other thing you can do, and the other question is forms versus a call booking, right? Which is better? Who's going to win? So I think forms win when it comes to just getting the highest number of applications in the door, not necessarily booked calls. And if your sales team is really good, or if you have a setter that will then contact these leads and get them on a booked call, that is the perfect solution for you, because you're going to get more leads than if you just have a call booking be the number one thing you want people to do. Now, you can do both, really depending on your business. If you're running ads, you might want to have a form for the ads, and then have people go straight to a call booking on your organic content, or vice versa. It depends on the ad, it depends on the organic, it depends on the industry. There's different strategies you can employ and use. But at the end of the day, if you want to optimize for call bookings, I usually recommend you have a call booking and then redirect to the form if you still want to have that application process. You don't necessarily want to have the form embedded in the call booking if you're trying to optimize for call booking, because by the time they fill out the form, they might not book the call. You might juice their energy. They might go back to scrolling or watching YouTube or whatever it is, however they found you. The form is going to get you the most leads. The call booking is going to get you the most calls, typically speaking. And by the way, if you have another really good way to get people in your pipeline that doesn't involve a form or a call booking, please comment that down below in the comments. These are like the two most common, and obviously these can be deployed in different ways, whether it's via email marketing, with lead magnets, freebies, whatever it is, via setters as well. But if you guys have a different method, please comment down below in the comments. I'd be highly curious to know what that is, and maybe even do a whole nother video on that as well. Now, when it comes to sales, these are the analytics that really matter the most. And it's kind of funny because like the first and last analytics make the biggest difference. The first one is your show rate, and you get that by taking the number of live calls or people who actually show up and hop on the phone and dividing that by the total number of booked calls that you have. Now, with all of these analytics, if you have a good dashboard set up, you can view them by day, week, month, year, whatever time frame, whatever date range you want to look at. And that is ideal, and or by sales rep, because you want to see if different sales reps have different performances as well. If you don't have this for your business, please click the link down below in the description. Talk with my team. This is like, I literally have templates for this. I'd be more than happy to help you. This is what I do day in and day out with all of our clients at Laney Media. It's worth the money, and let me explain to you right now why it is. So number one thing, if we're looking at show rate here, and you have a 50% show rate, like just something terrible, something like embarrassing. A 50% show rate, if you increase that from 50 to 75%, you might say, oh, hey, I'm gonna increase my business by 25%. You're actually increasing it by 50%. And if we look at the numbers here, if you had 10 calls booked and 50% showed, that would be 5. I'm gonna do a slightly bigger number here, 20. If you had 20 calls booked, 50% showed, that gives you 10 live calls versus 20 booked calls, 75% show rate. That is 15. And you might say, hey, Soren, that's only 5 more, but 5 of 10 is actually a 50% increase. So this is like the smallest thing. If you can get this right, if you can get your show rate up, and even if you go over like from 60 to 90, like it is going to affect your bottom line more than just about any other metric. And you might say, hey, Soren, what about close rate? What if I take my close rate from 25% to 50%? That would be the same. But the really big issue here is that what is easier, getting your show rate up or getting your closer to go from 25% to 50%? 9 times out of 10, doing this right here is going to be a million times easier than getting a closer to go from a 25% close rate to a 50% close rate. Now, this kind of changes. Like if you have a closer that's closing at 5 or 6%, it is an insane difference, just because like if they go from 5 to 25%, that's a 5x increase. Okay, if they're doing like 10K a month and closing at 5%, and then they go to 25% close rate, they are going to be doing 25K a month, right? Huge difference. Just like random arbitrary numbers that are easy. Hopefully you can understand. Hopefully my brain also did the math right. But show rate, it's one of the easiest things. How do you get this up if it's not doing well? Go and again, minimum have these automations up. So like 24 or 1 day in advance or 24 hours in advance. Actually, let's just do 24 hours. I like 24 hours better. 24 hours in advance, morning of, 1 hour prior to the call. Text, call, right? You can text or you can call. Texting is usually easier as a reminder. You can automate these, but the issue is if you automate them, it doesn't come across as good as if you are doing these manually. And again, if you have like tons of numbers, if you're doing like 100 calls a day, just have it automated. It's really hard. But like if a sales rep, and again, like if you have a sales rep that has 8 book calls in a day, there is no reason why on earth, because at max, 24 hours in advance, at max, he's doing 16 of these reach outs in a single day. He can do this over text, and it's going to increase his show rate. Plus, like, you know, the end user, they can sniff it when it's automated. So if you're doing it manually, you're just going to get higher show rate. It's going to come across better. It's going to come across, most importantly, as more authentic, and that your end user is not just a number to you, but they are someone that you actually care about helping. So be sure to do that, 24 hours in advance, morning of, 1 hour before. It's going to make the biggest difference on getting people to show up to the call. Offers, and offer rate. So you get offer rate by number of offers divided by live calls. Offer rate just simply means like the number of people you actually pitch. And this is really funny. You want this number somewhere between like 70 and like 80%. Ideally, you want it a little bit higher than 80%. I mean, honestly, you could go like 80, 90%. You want the majority of people coming through to be qualified, okay? Now, and this is kind of like one of those metrics. It's a Fugazi, it's a Woozy, it's a Wazi, it's a whatever, right? It matters, but it doesn't matter that much because it can be funged. It's a fungible number based off of the arbitrary decisions. Again, like if you're ranking your applications on a 1 to 4 scale, you can say if they're qualified or not, and then if they're not pitching, But if you're not doing that, it's just kind of something to watch, because one of two things are happening. 1, a sales rep isn't pitching everyone that they should be, or 2, you're getting a ton of unqualified leads based off of your content or your ads targeting or whatever it may be. So this is one of those metrics. It matters, but it's more of an indicator. If it drops outside of this range, something funky is going on within your marketing or within your sales team and you need to narrow it down, the easiest way, I repeat, to actually figure this out is to just go watch sales calls. Have them record them on Fathom so you can get a transcript summary so you can tell right off the bat if there's something up with the call. But if not, you can dive into it. You can send the transcription, watch it on 2x speed, save your time, and get your sales team trained better, faster than otherwise. Closes divided by offers gives you your close rate. This is like the other most important metric. In simple terms, if you're doing organic content, you want your close rate to be 25% or above. Our closers close at 60% and above very commonly. But again, this is like one of those metrics where if they're playing around with like the number of people they offer to, they can bump this number up. So it's just something you want to keep your eye on. If it drops below 25%, you have problems, but like 25% above is KPI, typically 20% for ads, and then 10% for if you're just doing cold outbound. If you're doing like affiliates, it's usually between 20 and 25%, just from experience and what I've heard. But like those are the minimum KPI numbers that you want to be shooting for on the close rate. Again, if you're doing cold outbound, you're just going to have a lower close rate than if people are coming to you from organic social media. And honestly, like I said, our guys close at 60%. This is why we really suggest organic social media, because if you have everything set up right, if you're creating psychology-backed content, not only are your leads going to be warm, not only are they going to want to work with you, but overall they are, just going to close at a lot higher rate. You're going to be able to run a much more profitable business with less employees. Less employees equals less headache, which means you can focus on growing your business more. I can't explain it. I'm just very pro organic content. Use ads to scale when you have everything worked out and your organic content is performing well, and use your organic content as the freaking ad. It's kind of a no-brainer. Right. Next one is average contract value times closes equals revenue. If you're in e-commerce space, that's the average cart value. Same acronym, basically means the same thing. Reason why you want to track this is you might have program X, program Y, and program Z, like 5K, 7K, and 15K here. And you might have your average contract value be like 5,500, which means your sales reps aren't actually pitching product Z, product Y very much. And you might have 20% qualified for product Z, 30% qualified for product Y, and 50% of your leads qualified for product X. So that would be a huge issue where you're leaving a ton of money on the table, where your average contract value should be a lot closer to like 8K or something. So average contract value is one to watch in and of itself. And then revenue at the end of the day, it's the lifeblood of your business. You can have a really high close rate, but like 60%, like I said, with our closers, I don't care about that if our revenue is down. If our revenue is down, I am ripping into them. I'm going through every call, seeing if they pitched everyone that was qualified or not qualified. Because again, at the end of the day, this is what keeps the business going. We don't care about close rate. These metrics are just merely metrics for you to watch to indicate how your sales team is performing. Above all, they need to be doing things honestly, but it's super easy for sales reps to be like, that person wasn't qualified. My close rate's actually this. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. I can't tell you how many people I have fired for doing that, how many clients I have had closes that are doing that I tell to fire because they're just being dishonest and they're not focusing on what actually matters in the business at the end of the day, which is closed revenue. No one cares about vanity metrics. It's like getting likes or saves on social media. It doesn't really matter. We care about views and traffic. That's what puts money in the bank at the end of the day. I guarantee you, if you actually go through and you apply and you start tracking these metrics and you actually implement what we talked about here, your sales, your closing rates, your show rates, your revenue is going to go up. And if you have a little tip, if you're already tracking all of this data and your sales team still isn't performing where you want it to be, my last trick that I want to give you in this video is to have a daily sales team meeting where you do call reviews and you do live action role plays going through similar scenarios that they face on calls with common objections. That is going to get your sales team's close rate up higher than anything else. And the crazy thing is we're talking about doubling your business. If you go from like a 50 to 75% show rate, and then you go from a 25 to 50% close rate, you just quadrupled your business. This is why compounding is so powerful, not only in investing, but also in your business, because you can just get these insane compounded returns. If you could snap your fingers and quadruple your business tomorrow, would you? Of course you would. So my question to you is, why aren't you doing all of this laid out here in this video? If you want help doing this, please, again, like I said earlier, go hit that link down below to scale your business in the description. This is what I do with my clients every single day, hence why I'm filming this video at night. But I hope this video provided value to you. I hope you can grow your sales team more, whether you do or don't work with us in the future. And as always, I hope you have a great day.